This has been a very sad month for hip hop. On April the 11th, 2021, we lost DMX after a week long, drawn out, sad process. And DMX came upon the scene, even though he had been rapping for several years prior. He burst upon the scene in the post East Coast, West Coast beef era and made a niche for himself and arguably was the most successful rapper for about a 5 or 6 year span, starting in 1998 when he dropped two platinum albums in 1 year. And then on April the 17th, the hip hop world lost Black Rob, who just days prior put out a video commenting on the loss of DMX, but himself looking near death. And Black Rob was nearing his fight, the end of his fight with renal failure. But Black Rob wasn't as world renowned or successful as DMX, but he put out a classic banger in 2000 with Whoa. I mean, it was just a phenomenal song from the Bad Boy label. And then today we find out that Shock G, better known as Humpty Hump, was found dead in a hotel in Tampa, Florida at the age of 57. His father confirmed the report. Uh, Foul play is not suspected. It probably was from natural causes. Now, I don't want to speculate. I don't know his lifestyle. Um, Recent images of Shock G showed him to look pretty good. I mean, for a guy nearing 60. He did like he had put on some weight, but who doesn't as they get older? You know, nobody knows. You know what I'm saying? But time will tell what happened in his case. But Humpty Hump certainly wasn't as successful commercially as DMX, um, but he did have a huge hit back in 1989 with Humpty Hump or the Humpty Dance. I mean, it was a huge hit if you were alive at that time, but it was not Shock G, but the alter ego that you saw here, Humpty Hump, that was presented in the video. Now it was Shock G, the actual hip hop artist slash producer, um, that introduced the world to Tupac Shakur. Now the group that Shock G created was not Digital Underground. Yeah, Digital Underground. Excuse me, Digital Underground. I'm thinking about Digital Planet for a minute. Digital Underground, and it was with Digital Underground that Tupac was introduced. Now, the first time that I saw Tupac Shakur was in this low budget. Well, I won't say low budget, but it was this 1991 movie, a comedy movie with Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, John Candy, called Nothing But Trouble, and they played themselves, a music group, and the judge, unbeknownst unbeknownst to them, the judge was going to sentence them to death if he didn't like their performance. But they played their song, which was a really big song back in 1991 called Same Song, and the judge liked it and let them go. But that same song had a music video, and that's the first time I saw Tupac Shakur. All right, but Shock G helped to produce Tupac's first album, Tupacalypse, and I think that came out in 1992, if I'm not mistaken. And Tupac just blew up from there. Shock G was also featured in Tupac's song "I Get Around." Okay, so he was in that song. Matter of fact, I was just talking about this with a friend of mine. Okay, that video. But Shock G has also produced material for other hip hop artists. Dr. Dre for one, KRS One is another. I want to say Jay Z. I'm not sure about that. Um, but he's been more behind the scenes over the years. But he's a very well known and respected, or was a very well known and respected figure in hip hop. And his passing is shocking. But what is also showing, you know, with his passing, I think Prince Marky D died this year too. I think it was this year. These guys are getting older. You know what I'm saying? They're getting older. They're getting into their 50s, creeping into their 60s. And, some of these guys lived a decadent lifestyle. It has to be said. Some of these guys didn't live the most healthy lifestyle. And we saw this with a lot of rockers in the 60s and 70s. A lot of these guys, they didn't come out all that well. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. A lot of these rockers live these exorbitant, fast-paced party rock style, lifestyle. It caught up with them, and when you burn both ends of the candle, and you're getting an exiguous amount of sleep and rest, this is what happens. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I don't want to speculate with this situation, but that is what happens oftentimes with a lot of these rappers. And look at the guys out today. Look at what's happening with these dudes. Can you imagine how some of these guys are going to look, or even think, how their minds are going to be in 20 years? So anyway, rest in peace to Shock G, Humpty Hump. My name is Humpty. I like my oatmeal lumpy, G.